Hi, welcome to Hope and Healing Homestead. Today, I want to talk to you about emergency weather preparedness in the winter. So, as most of you know, right now it is the middle of January, and we as a nation, most of the United States, I believe 40 states, are getting ready to be hit with a gigantic snow and ice storm. Now, where I'm located in Indiana, lots of times we have had snow and ice storms before. My family has went for 2 times for over a week without electricity. Now, is that a good thing? No, it's not. Especially because we have children that are on life-saving medical equipment that they absolutely have to have. Our son Eric has a non-invasive ventilator that he absolutely has to have, a shake vest, oxygen. He has breathing treatment machine, suction machine. He has a feeding pump. He has his pulse ox machine. He has a cough assist machine just for him. Our daughter Eliza has many of the exact same machines. I'm sure you might be able to hear him. I'm in his room right now. And so with that in mind, we have to have power backups. So we have some solar backup. We have what some people refer to as mini generators that are solar generators. Now, this will not do our house. It does not cover our house at all. We can rotate them to do our refrigerators and freezers. We also have to have medications refrigerated. So that's another issue. Our primary reason, though, is for the medical equipment. And I mean, that is number one. It is literally life-dependent equipment. So that is absolute number one priority. Now, the other issue is obviously heat. Medically fragile, they have to have heat. Everybody does. But one of our issues is that we have to be able to bring that portable energy into our living room, which is not a huge space. And that's one of the reasons that the portable energy, the little power banks, that was the word I was trying to think of a couple minutes ago, a power bank in with us. Now, it's very important also that we try to keep everything as condensed as possible, because that's a lot of equipment in a small amount of space when you consider how many of us there are. So we have to keep everybody's body temperature at the right temperature. And with medical fragile people who can't always control their body temperatures like a typical person can, it's even more important. Then on top of that, our daughter Leslie is autistic on top of her medical issues. Now, her medical issues are different. They're completely different than Eliza and Eric's. But she's autistic and has an extreme fear of fire. And we have not had her during one of our extended power outages. She came to us when she was 4 years old, and those power outages happened before we got her. So we do not know what her reaction is going to be if we have to heat the house, which we will close off to the one room and a bathroom. We don't know how she's going to react because she gets scared by candles on birthday cakes. So please pray about that, as well as that our power stays on. It's a big issue, not just for us, but for anybody. Anybody, but also extremely much so for people on life-saving medical equipment. Now, the power companies do have a program that you sign up for, and if your power goes out, you're supposed to be top of the list to get your power turned back on. In a mass blackout situation, that doesn't really work. That doesn't always work in a not blackout situation. So you have to have backups to your backups. This is what we do. Now, besides our fireplace, we do have propane heaters that we have also to help with that. One of the other things that we do to try to condense our heat and those types of things is we do block off the rooms. We have a tent that we put up, and we can put the kids in the tent. The problem is that you can't see into a tent very well because strangulation in the cords is also an issue. So there's a lot of complications with medically fragile. We would put the tent in the room with the fireplace, and with all the blankets and sleeping bags and all those kinds of things. We would put up shower curtains with shower curtain rods and all over the entryways to the living room, and so it would block off that for space from the rest of the house. And so we would only access the bathroom and the living room there. That is part of our preparations. We would put all of the needed supplies, diapers, all the wipes, all the medical supplies, the meds, everything would be locked up but brought into that space so that we don't have the cold air coming and going. We would do the same thing with as much food as possible into that space. Now, we do those things above and beyond what all the people suggest to do just because of our circumstances. Of course, we typically do all your other typical things. Extra straw out for the animals. Make sure the non-perishable foods, things you don't have to heat up if you don't have to. Put blankets up to the windows, blankets over the doors, things of that nature too. We do all those kinds of things. Prepare the vehicles, those kinds of things. But we do live very rural. They do not plow our roads. Okay? If our road is plowed or our driveway, it is because a local farmer neighbor has done so. The state, county does not do it. Ever. Doesn't happen. We live on a gravel road that does not get touched by the state in snow and ice storms. It just can't happen. So those are the things that we do, those very basic things. We check on our neighbors, which happen to be relatives for the most part. And so we all help each other out. We're very, very fortunate, very, very blessed with that. But the ultimate preparation that we can do, the ultimate preparation that we can do is prayer. And we strongly suggest that. Another thing that we do for fun is that we make sure we have plenty of card games and board games in that space. And we also make sure we charge up everything so that during the time that we are in our warm room, warm space, that the everything, phones, all that are good to go. If we would have to call for emergency services. Those, are also all things that everybody else tends to do. But, like I've said before, our focus is mostly the medical. We keep up on all the laundry, the dishes, and all those things, try to have hot food and things prepared as much as we can, crock pot food, things like that are easy to just rewarm if that's possible. We do have a lot of outdoor cooking ways, but if the ice is too bad, you can't really go out and do some of those things safely. We, of course, try to keep the doors closed as much as possible, which is one of the other reasons we try not to go outside. But we do have means to heat things in the house as well. And one thing that we found within the last few years that has been a real blessing with our daughter that's petrified of fire is battery operated candles. If you don't have any of those, I strongly suggest you get those and rechargeable batteries to go with them. They really work well. She can tell the difference. She's not scared of them at all. And they really do throw out a lot of light. We have those along with regular lanterns. And they really do work well. I really like the rechargeable battery option. And we have went to just getting those. They do cost more at the beginning, but they definitely are worth the investment. That is something that we've done a lot with. And of course, all your solar lights and things of that nature. Anyway, that's all for now. I hope you're safe. Hope you have your plans in place, and have a great day. That's all for Hope and Healing Homestead. See you in the next video. Bye.